Another case of do as I say, not as I do. Deputy Prime Minister, who says she doesn't even use a car, caught speeding 40 kilometers over the speed limit, considered dangerous driving. Got the story from the Counter Signal exclusive. Chrystia Freeland charged for near criminal speeding. I don't know why they're saying near criminal speeding. This is actually criminal speeding. We're going to get into that. But here she is, renowned city cyclist Chrystia Freeland, and Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, has been formally charged for extreme speeding after she was caught driving 142 kilometers in a 100 zone on the highway. Now, we're not sure if she might get off on these charges. We don't know, but it's kind of hypocritical, considering she was talking about how she doesn't even use a car. She just walks or rides her bike, which was also, by the Blacklock reporter, found to be not true, as she has a chauffeur when she's spending her time in Toronto. But when she's not in Toronto, she's definitely stunt driving. And, well, we'll get into that. It's unclear if Freeland was granted roadside leniency, as her charges indicate. She was driving at speeds just shy of criminal. Just shy. The Counter Signal has reached out to Freeland's office. I'm sure they got back to you right away there, Kian. Vehicular crashes both head on with other drivers and impact with roadside obstacles at these speeds often lead to multiple fatalities. According to sources, Freeland was charged on the 15th while she was driving alone in the Peace River area without an RCMP security detail. Now, this is my favorite part of this whole article. According to the Department of Natural Resources, most cars, vans, pickups, and SUVs are most fuel efficient when they're traveling between 50 and 80 kilometers per hour. Above this speed zone, vehicles use increasingly more fuel as the faster they go. And I can vouch for this, but I mean, each car is different, obviously. I'm a mechanic. I know a thing or two about this, but it's actually accurate. And Chrystia Freeland, who's, imposing all these fuel restrictions on Canadians, is, well, stepping outside of her boundary once again. Of course, all of these elites, they love to fly around on the globe, but then they like to guilt trip us about our fuel usage. Just, getting to work, that kind of thing, trying to feed your family. But this is the kind of thing that they're putting limitations on us for. Now, what is stunt driving? According to Ontario, and these are Ontario rules, I'm not sure what the rules are exactly there, but he said near stunt or near criminal in that case being 42 kilometers over. I know in Ontario here, stunt driving, they call it stunt driving when you're going 40 kilometers over the speed limit when it's less than 80 kilometers in that area. So I don't know what it is for 100. If you know the answer to that, leave a comment in the comment section down below. At what point does it become stunt driving? Apparently, if you're doing stunt driving and you're caught for this, you're going to get a minimum of $2,000 fine, and it could reach as high as 10 grand and 6 demerit points. But what do you need demerit points for when, if all else fails, you can just lean on your taxpayer paid chauffeur? This is the case. This is where we're at now. Pierre Poilievre put a tweet out, Freeland's message to Prince Edward Islanders worried about 61 cents a liter carbon tax. Move to Toronto and get a bike. This is what she had to say ahead of all of this, before we even knew that she zips around in her sports car. But this is what she had to say to them when they had these questions to ask.
Question for the Deputy Minister. What do you say to Prince Edward Islanders who woke up to a significant increase in gas, diesel, and oil this morning between 6 and 8 cents per liter?
Okay, well, I have been talking about that with Heath and Sean. Heath and Sean and I had breakfast together before that.
One of the key industries here on Prince Edward Island in particular is our tourist industry, and particular to that, our car tourist industry. People traveling from our region to this island to be tourists.
Still? I don't get it.
Policies like the carbon tax and the clean fuel standards, which are by design meant to reduce consumption of fuel and reduce. Are you worried that's going to have a chilling effect on one of the key industries here on Prince Edward Island?
So yeah, I'm very aware of that, and actually with a couple of my colleagues, we drove here last night from Halifax.
Fast, I'm sure.
We very much believe in PEI. We believe in the tourism industry, and we believe in the PEI economy overall. Today's announcement was about all of that. You guys are nice.
I did want to.
She's not even dodging questions. She's just answering it with nonsense. She's jittery all over the place. Is she on Quaaludes or something? What is the deal with this deputy prime minister? And did she have a drug test when she was pulled over for speeding 40 kilometers over the speed limit, which is dangerous as other people are trying to commute, get to work, or even driving with their families? This is something that most people would speak out largely against in this case. But is Deputy Prime Minister doing her job in any which way? Is this whole cabinet doing their job at all in any way? I always love to use these sensational headlines to talk about real issues, and this is the real issue. Housing in Canada. The Minister of Housing is suggesting that feds may cap international students to address the housing crisis. Well, is that really going to do anything? Now we have Liberal Housing Minister Sean Fraser that said that Ottawa isn't ruling out capping foreign student visas as the country struggles to contain affordability and in a housing crisis, where also letting in a record number of international students. Yeah, we're letting in a record number of international students, but that doesn't make up the bulk of all the people that are coming in. We're talking about 500,000 people per year for the next foreseeable future. I guarantee you they're not all international students. So putting a cap on that is really not going to fix anything. And if anything, we would like people that are coming to consume our products, like our universities, things like that, instead of people that maybe don't have any skills or anything like that. We do need people with skills, so we should definitely be screening the regular immigration for that kind of thing. We need people who can obviously build houses, and we need to cut all the red tape involved in between. Now, Bloomberg Economics is talking about Canada is likely sitting on the largest housing bubble of all time. Yes, it was only a few months ago. It was weird if you called it a housing bubble. It's not a housing bubble. No way. It's just a strong economy. No, it's been a housing bubble for some time, and these housing prices have been speculated up ridiculously, and we need to get in there and actually supply more houses or have fewer people in that marketplace for at least the interim until we can get this under control. But no. This is not the plan here. The level of debt that Canadians have taken on in comparison to their incomes has put them in a precarious situation. Should mortgage rates continue to rise, which is likely, Philip Colmar said. He's a global strategist for Bloomberg. For MRB Partners, and he told Bloomberg in an interview on Tuesday, Canada is probably sitting on the largest housing bubble of all time, he warned. Colmar argued that the inflated home prices in Canada are a result of 2 decades worth of easy money supplied by the Bank of Canada monetary policy for numerous reasons. Presented at the present moment, he sees risk in mortgage rates climbing as Canadian bond yields are dragged up, particularly at a time when debt to income ratios are sky high. We are seeing situations where people's mortgage payments are doubling overnight. They have doubled already. And those are the variable rate mortgages. Now in the next 18 months, we're going to have a huge number of fixed rate mortgages resetting and having to refinance and under the new inflation rates and the new interest rates. And let me tell you, they are not coming down, and they're not expected to come down. And this is a big problem for people who have so much household debt. People are going to become underwater because of this whole scenario. Better Dwelling saying Bank of Canada is watching housing as it becomes an inflation risk. As it becomes an inflation risk, it has been an inflation risk, but now they're really serious about it. Canada's central bank will be watching home prices carefully when it's setting interest rates. In a note to investors, BMO Capital Markets explained that falling new home prices reduced the consumer price index readings. However, they're starting to bottom and are likely to become an influence on higher inflation. The Bank of Canada is expected to keep a close eye on home prices as they turn into an inflationary risk. Now, what are they saying here in that? Well, it was really nice for the CPI, the thing that they measure the inflation with, the thing that they keep flubbing numbers on constantly. We have one of the lowest in interest rates in the world at the moment. Well, no, not really. It's just they keep putting things in the basket of goods that are more deflationary, like cell phones and whatnot. And we have been seeing massive increases in cost of living, which is the real CPI. This is the average everyday person CPI. Is the grocery bill. It's their heating bill. It's their gasoline bill. It's all of this. And this is the real cost of living crisis that a lot of people are dealing with. And as they say that the prices have reached their bottom and they're going to go back up, well, that's just going to cause the inflation to become more and more of an issue. And as that becomes more of an issue, the Bank of Canada's only real recourse out of this is to tighten its belt and raise interest rates. So we're looking at more interest rates to be rising in the near future. But this is why things have been turning around because, well, you've seen the Liberal government, a Liberal NDP, you can't let the NDP off the hook here with their coalition, have been supporting these budgets and just blowing all of our taxpayers' money and putting us largely into debt and trying to keep interest at a really low price for a long time. That's what the strategy was. Spend all our money while the interest rates are low. Well, now things are going up and people are concerned. And when people are concerned, they shift their focus politically. They tend to go over to the conservative side. And that's what we're seeing here. You see the federal government, Federal 338 Canada model outcomes odds, and they're saying that in the next election, if there was an election coming up soon, if we had one soon, these are the odds of who will win in that election. They're saying the Conservative Party getting a minority is about a 48% chance. The Conservative Party getting a majority is about a 43% chance. The Liberal Party getting even a minority is an 8% chance. They are fat out of luck. People are starting to just chime in to what's actually happening here. And like I said, maybe the Conservatives may fix things a bit, but this always seems to be the answer for the average voter is to, when in economic trouble, vote for the Conservatives because they're the only ones that will hold that wallet back and not spend. Because let me tell you, even in a recession, Liberals and the NDP, they will not be spendthrifts. And that's really where we're at. But yeah, I always love to take these viral stories, the stories that are edge-hitting, breaking news, and bring in a little bit more of the other stuff that's happening here in Canada. So let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of Chrystia Freeland and her Fast and the Furious driving as she's telling people not to spend so much on fuel? She needs to get places though, right? Because that's her purview. But what about the rest of the responsibilities that she has and the rest of the federal government, especially when they've taken on the role of putting our finances in the same basket as their finances by, causing so much inflation. This is really everybody's game at this point. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of all of this, and we'll see you again in the next one. Keep on trucking.